It's always worth it, dude. I'm a big guy about who, not how.
Yeah.
I'm not going to learn how to do this myself. Who can I pay? Like this, dude. Like, I don't have this in my house. Let me tell you that. Like, this whole setup.
Yeah,
like, so
shout out to Clear Life Media.
Yeah, just pay these guys, and you don't have to do anything except just pay them for what they're amazing at.
Hey, what's up? We're back on the More Than Grass podcast, and back with Blake Baker, Real Estate, or with EXP.
Associate broker with EXP Realty in South Shore League City. Yes, sir.
My apologies. I'm not well versed in how to do that lingo yet.
You're good.
So last time we're talking about the value of homes or landscape adding value to homes.
Curb appeal, yeah.
Curb appeal, the cost, losing money on a home, right?
Yep.
And I kind of want to throw it out as like a little reminder, because I thought that was cool information, that the first 7 days, you said, was like the hottest time or to get the most value out of selling your home.
Right, because like I said with the truck analogy, I mean, it's anything you want to buy in the economy. You want it to be brand new. You want it to be shiny. You want it to be nice. Okay, so your home hits the market. If you don't call this guy and have him come out and assess your yard, and it's not going to be, most of the time, it's not going to be $3 grand, but you know, just for, just for example purposes, let's say it's $3 grand.
Right.
You don't spend the $3 grand. Your yard looks like crap. The buyers come and they may not even realize, like I said on the last podcast, they may not even realize that it's a big deal to them, but subconsciously it's a turnoff. So they pass on your house for the guy that did call you to come look at his yard and refresh his front yard, and the yard looks amazing, and they're going to go buy that one. Why would they not? If it's this close to the same price, right? So then you sit on the market, 7 days goes by, 14 days goes by, 30 days goes by. You're losing leverage. And any savvy buyer is going to say, okay, they are on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, no offers. Why would we pay their asking price at this point?
Right.
So rather than just spend $3 grand, you lost 10 grand.
So then let me ask you this. In this situation, because I do get people every year, quite often, calling me, you know, hey, we're about to put the house on the market. You know, I need to fix the lawn, fix X, Y, and Z, right? And I tell people, like, hey, when I come fix your lawn, you're going to need like at least 30 days to see significant results depending on the season. Now, we do this in wintertime. Does it still make an impact on your soil and your turf? Absolutely. You're setting yourself up for success the next year.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see visible results like after November for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Until March of next year, depending on how our weather is. Right. And I guess where I'm going with this is, would it be advisable, if you do have so many problems, to like take your house off the market?
I mean, I probably wouldn't go that far. It really depends on the yard situation. Like what I tell people.
Well, and I don't mean just the yard, right? But other things that are going to be a detractor from selling your home.
Well, typically what I do is I'll have a consultation. You know, say if you call me and say, hey, Blake, we want to list our home. I'll say, okay, I need to come look at it. I'll never sell something without putting my eyes on it first, because I need to know, I need to get a feel for what I'm selling. So if I come over and see, you know, I always encourage people to do the easy stuff. I'm never going to go in and say, yeah, remodel the whole kitchen and spend 20 grand, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get that money back.
Right.
Now, if the cabinets are beat up from kids and dogs and there's crayon coloring on the walls, okay, paint a little bit, you know, fix the easy stuff, right? The yard is one of the easiest things, because like you said, you may not need to rip up all your sod and put all new sod down and go crazy with it, but maybe you need to just pull the weeds in the flower bed, put down some new mulch. A fresh new mulch goes so far, red or black.
Very far. Use hardwood natural mulch.
Yeah,
sure.
And you know, trim the bushes, trim everything down to where it's neat looking. And dude, I mean, even if a yard has like weeds and stuff, if you mow it, it's gonna look halfway decent.
Right. You know, I guess too, if you could show like, hey, we've taken these steps to like improve it. Right.
And if you are, say, you know, right now it's almost September. So say, we're going to sell in like 6 months. So October, November, December, January, February, March. You could get started now.
Absolutely.
Refresh your yard over the winter, get it all nice and prep it for springtime. And then whenever the sun comes out in spring, you'll see the fruits of that come to fruition. And that'll be so much work. Then it's like legit.
And I just want to say, because I get told this or asked this, and I see this all the time, and I even want to throw this out to other landscapers. Okay, listen, guys, I've been messing with grass since I was a kid. Every house I ever lived in, my dad redid the lawn, right? Redid the landscape, everything. And having this experience, I can tell you firsthand, if you are going to lay sod, don't let winter stop you. Winter is the best time to lay sod.
Yep.
Because it's cool. It can establish. So once it gets into spring and summer, you already have an established lawn. Once it starts to heat back up, if you happen, and I've done this, I've gotten the ugliest yellow grass, middle of January, put it down, had a freeze on top of it, right? But then I used like some MicroLife hybrid. It's a 2005 slow release fertilizer. I put, you know, soil down. I prepped it properly. They sent me pictures mid-March. That Beautiful. Lawn was like perfect.
And in the wintertime, isn't that a good time to actually get rid of your pest, like species of like different invasive like weeds and stuff? I mean, a cooler temperature, it would make sense for me that they're not going to thrive in those cooler temperatures.
That sounds good, but again, from experience, that does not work that way here because we don't get cool enough. Now,
not for long enough anyway.
And I don't like to promote pre-emergence. I have to fix a lot of lawns from overuse of this kind of stuff. A very popular product or thing is prodiamine, but there is other pre-emergence. And when you have a stressed out lawn, the last thing you want to do is put a pre-emergent down because it's going to prevent new grass from growing because it prevents those roots from dropping. Okay. So the best way is number one, the best way is just continue to maintain your lawn. That's the biggest mistake I see is a lot of people will say, oh, it's October, November, whatever. Well, we just, you know, we don't need to mow the lawn. Well, you still got weeds growing, and the more that you mow that lawn at least every 2 weeks and still maintain it, you're going to reduce your weed problem significantly because they will get stressed out and they won't have a chance to germinate and to grow. And, oh, I just see it every year. My customers who take care of their lawn year round always guaranteed have way better lawns. The people who are like, oh, well, we just quit, you know, for 4 months. I got so much more to fix come spring. And then I'm like being blamed for it. Like, I got all this stuff.
Yeah. So in my neighborhood, one thing I've noticed about the whole neighborhood, and it's everybody has this problem, and you're either fighting it or you're just letting it go and saying whatever. There's like clumps of these. You'll have like normal Bermuda grass, but you know what I'm
Dallas
talking
grass.
Those clumps.
It's Dallas grass.
There's this one specific yard that has it every 3 feet, dude.
Right.
And it's, if you mow it within 2 or 3 days, the St. Augustine will be about the same, but you'll start to see those little fingers come up.
So something to know about that is, number one, it is commonly mistaken for crabgrass. Don't put crabgrass killer on your lawn if you have Dallas grass because it's not going to work. It's just going to further damage your existing turf that you do want. Number two, dig it out. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's going to take elbow grease,
yeah.
right? Either that or get a natural weed killer, like something that's citrus based and or fatty. There's a certain nano potassium fatty acid thing out there that works really, really well, but get a natural burn down weed killer and spot spray it heavily. Go crazy because those are the two best ways to handle that problem. And yeah, other than that, I'm sorry guys, I don't have a good answer.
But the environmental thing I was going to talk about, what you were talking about, how fungicides. So the question was golf courses. I've always heard that there's like a risk if you live on a golf course, and this was more back in the day. I would hear things 20, 30 years ago that people would be at risk for different diseases from living on a golf course. And I had said, is that from the fertilizers? And you said, no, it's from the pesticides, the fungicides, and the herbicides.
Correct. There, as nitrogen does and can play a huge role in causing problems environmentally and with health. The biggest thing that you're going to find from nitrogen is what's called eutrophication, where there's an overabundance of nutrients, body of water, grows algae. As the algae dies off, it sucks out all the oxygen in the water and creates what's called aquatic hypoxia. And so everything dies off, and it creates an anaerobic situation where you have a lot of bad bacteria. You get in that, you can get really jacked up, right? But then the other thing is, and this happens more like on farms and stuff where they use a lot of nitrogen, it can get in the well water. And it doesn't impact adults so much, but it can cause extremely low oxygen levels in babies and cause them to die.
Whoa.
Right. I want to say one of the terms it's called is like blue baby syndrome. So that can happen, right? But it's not nearly as much of a problem as, say, number one, the problems that occur with herbicides. I'm a huge advocate for getting away from that crap, because Lord knows we all have family members, or maybe yourself, unfortunately, who've like died from cancer, right? Or who have cancer. And it's going way and way up. More people who have hormone imbalances.
Everybody does. How many guys nowadays are all on testosterone?
So check this out. Check this out. I'm glad you said this.
Dude, it's crazy.
Okay? Because that damn Roundup, or all the bull that you want to put down, excuse my language, people, like, oh, I want a weed-free lawn. I'm like, you also want to be like testosterone-free? Because it is a proven fact that herbicides contribute to disruption of testicular function, which causes low testosterone.
Dude, it's fascinating to me. I mean, we're seeing guys in their 20s and 30s, they go get their blood work done, and, oh, your test levels are 22, whenever they should be somewhere between 500 and 1,000.
Right.
And it's like, oh, no wonder I felt like absolute crap for the past however many years. But I'm like, what is going on?
Like, felt like crap, had erectile dysfunction issues.
Supposedly, like our grandparents back in the day, like their Tesla, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I heard was that their test levels were like 1,000 to 1,500.
I believe it.
And if you look at pictures from, I know everybody's seen this, I'm a meme right now, but have you seen the photos of like, oh, Galveston Beach, 1970? Everybody's out there with their shirts off and everybody's skinny.
Yeah. Yes. And I have seen that too. And there's, you know, quite a few things to play into it. So I like to present it like this. We're already exposed to a bunch of crap, right? And a bunch of crap we don't have control over.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have control over what you're breathing in the air on a day-to-day basis. You know, you don't have control over what you're exposed to necessarily when you go out and about and you live your life, but you do have control over what you bring into your home.
Yep.
Right? You have absolute control over that. You have control over what you bring into your household, what you put into your lawn. You do have a high level of control of what you put into your body. Right? And look, I want to make this like perfectly clear and abundantly known that if you're breathing it, if you're touching it, you're exposed to it. Your lungs, when you breathe things in, there is no filtration. It goes straight to your body. It doesn't go through your kidneys and your liver. It goes straight to your blood. So it goes straight to everything.
Yeah.
Right? When things touch your skin, which is the largest organ of your body, things get in your system, right? And if you ever read the directions for most of these products, people can just go buy from the big box store. There's directions: cover up, wear pants, wear gloves. I even quit using these products because I got sick once. And I was in my 20s, young and dumb, right?
Bulletproof.
Yeah. And just ignorant. Oh, hey, Mr. Johnson. I always use the name Mr. Johnson. But, you know, you want me to kill your weeds? Sure. You're going to pay me to spray the grass with this cheap crap? I can make some money off of doing this cheap job? Great. Did it. I had nosebleeds. I had headaches. I was dizzy. I felt nauseous. I don't get headaches, dude. Fortunately, I've had a migraine maybe twice in my life. So that was weird for me. Nosebleeds, that doesn't happen to me.
That'll trip me out.
You know, like,
Yeah.
Even on a severest hangover, half of these things don't happen to me. I get nasty feeling and everything, but headaches and nosebleeds and all that crap, no, man. Then I read the label. You're supposed to wear gloves, goggles, and on this specific product, it even said to wear like a mask that was almost somewhat like a cheap paint mask. And
like a respirator.
Right, like a respirator. And so here's the thing. I was in the Army Reserves, didn't do much, don't really, care about that part or want to make, a big deal out of it. But the training, we had to do mock training, okay? And you go through like the gas chamber, right? And they drill in your head like, these things can kill you and you'll never smell it. You'll never know. So when we tell you to don your mask, it means business. And that stuck in my head. So when I finally felt all this crap and I read the instructions, I was like, wow, this thing is telling me to use something to protect my breathing.
Yeah.
This is intense.
There's some stuff that in the oil field in the refineries that is like you can't smell it and it'll kill you like that. I forget the name of it, but I've heard that.
Right. And so that's why, you or anybody else, everybody, right? Especially on the More Than Grass podcast, I'm always going to kind of segue and advocate to you like, hey, man, let's not focus on the weeds. Let's focus on doing what you want. You want a beautiful lawn? Let's focus on building the turf, right? You want a beautiful landscape? Let's focus on building the landscape. Don't fight your problems. Promote your solution.
It's like building a house. You don't build the cabinets and countertops first. You pour the foundation.
Exactly.
If you have a weak foundation, the rest of the crap does not matter.
Yeah.
It'll matter for a very short time, maybe.
Right. Or if you got a big plumbing problem, you don't want to do a little patch job. You need to replace that piece, right? Or
why is it such human nature to want to get out of things the cheap way?
I don't know.
I'm like that. And I have to catch myself and be like, no, let's do this the right way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk of League City. Who has a mechanic that can, say it's like my transmission went out. Who has a good, cheap mechanic?
Yeah, that's
good and cheap. What is it? Good, cheap, and fast. You can pick two, but you can't get all three.
Right.
Yeah.
You can get good and fast, but it ain't cheap. You can get cheap and fast, but it ain't good.
Right.
And whatever else one I'm not putting together. And I see that, yeah, the mechanic thing is easy to point out, but lawn care, like, oh, who has a good, cheap lawn care guy? Not if they're one of my buddies, because I told them all to raise the prices because they're not bad. They're good. And when they do show stuff that's bad, hey, Jay, man, I'm doing this and that over here. Hey, believe you me, I'm kind of on their butts in the background, like, raise your blade, boy. Do this. Do this practice.
Yeah. I'm all about networking and working with community people. I'm a small business myself, so I want to work with other small businesses. I met this guy at my gym, really nice guy, and he is a nice guy, and I'm not saying anything bad about him, but he owned a lawn crew, and he was like, yeah, let me cut your grass. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, he kept mowing my little tiny front yard with like a huge 0-turn mower. So what it was doing was it was a super heavy mower that was like pushing the grass down, and then it would go over it, but the grass was laid down, so it wasn't actually cutting it. So he would cut, but the tire marks, the grass wasn't cut. So it was leaving like stripes of high grass. And I'm a 3-strike guy. I'll tell you once, I'll tell you twice. If you do it the third time, I'm sorry, we got to part ways. And that's what ended up happening.
That's fair.
Yeah. And he was cheap. So
yeah, don't choose the cheap guy, right? Because it ain't good.
And the thing was, he was never there. It was his crew. He would send his crew. I think as an owner, you got to at least kind of supervise a little bit, make sure that your customers are getting taken care of. It's like, when you're at a restaurant and you're having a great time and the manager comes out, hey guys, I just want to check on y'all. Is everything good? Can I get you anything else? And you're like, wow, the manager took time out of his shift, out of his day to come check on the customer.
Right.
He didn't have to do that.
No.
But whenever a manager comes and does that, Barcenas over here on 45, the manager always comes right up to you. Hey guys, how you doing? Says hello. I love that. I love that. And I love that place for that reason. I think that goes a long way with me.
Right. The place is good. I'm like a one-man show, so of course there's a problem. I'm the one showing.
You're the employee of the month every month.
No, I'm not. I've had to talk to myself. Hey, man, you need to straighten this up. You're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to resubmit my application.
You're gonna put in for time off.
Yeah. Right.
Paid leave.
Right. I wish soon, one day. But I like how you said the manager too, because it doesn't always have to be the owner, right? But someone needs to like kind of step up and be in charge of the situation. But yeah, when you're smaller, I do see, like, at least for me specifically in the lawn care industry, that I got guys who are really on top of their stuff. And then I got guys who are just trying to get crews out there and like build their business, but really don't know jack.
Well, it's kind of a low barrier to entry, right? Anybody can go buy a couple pieces of equipment, put it on a credit card, and hey, I'm a lawn company.
Yeah.
Lawns, realtors, roofers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. There's good and bad of everything.
Business.
Yeah, there's good and bad in everything you do. There's good doctors, policemen, lawyers. There's bad doctors, policemen, lawyers.
So I'll make this argument with you at least. When it comes to realtors, at least you go through some schooling. You have to get your certificates right, and
you have to go to you have to go through the courses and take your exam with Texas Real Estate Commission. Yes.
So at least for the real estate industry, there is some level of standards.
Yeah.
I say that loosely.
Now, whenever people say, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license, this is what I tell them. The school is nothing like the test, and the test is nothing like the job.
Oh, that's everything, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you passed, yeah, like you can pass the test. It's not easy. I mean, it's not as easy as everybody makes it out to be. And especially when I got my broker's license. So like you can be a sales agent, and then above that is a broker. So I can open my own company. I can sponsor agents. The broker test, I mean, I'm not saying it was the bar exam, but it was tough, dude.
Yeah.
I walked out of it. I got done with the test, and they tell you right then whether you passed or failed.
Well, that's good.
So I go in the little room, I hear the printer. I'm like, I know I'm about to just get like fail. And he handed me, you have a state and a national. He goes, all right, here you go. Handed me my 2 pieces of paper, pass. I about fell out, dude. I was so happy. I've never
Congratulations,
been. Thank
man.
you, man. I haven't been that happy other than my son being born. It was right. I mean, it was that's second place, but
so
yeah.
And I know people, like I know master certified arborists, board certified master arborists.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
We need these things. We need a tough bar to get over.
Or at least I would say, like, there's different levels, right? For everyone. So we need some sort of standardization of doing things, a better way of teaching, because most of these guys don't know anything when they start, and then half the information out there is crap to begin with.
Well, on these types of professions, like we were saying, you know, yard people, realtors, roofers, tradesmen, I always try to go by referral. So I always try to find somebody that a friend or a family member has used, and they can verify that they do good work. That's really the only way to know, right? Because you can't, you know, a doctor has their diploma right there in their office. I went to Johns Hopkins Medical School. It's like, there's no diploma for, oh, I passed Champion School Real Estate. Cool. Like, no one cares. You know?
And there's definitely nothing for lawn care.
Yeah.
Right. You can get certain stuff for like landscape design and things like that, architecture. So on the big scale, there's definitely things to get. I even went to irrigation class last year, did everything. I slacked off. I did not take my test, but I had all the prerequisites to do so and learned a little bit, but just like, you know, from what I learned to what I know, and I even sometimes pay guys that are in the industry to come out and show me things at a customer's house.
It's always worth it, dude. I'm a big guy about who, not how.
Yeah.
I'm not going to learn how to do this myself. Who can I pay? Like this, dude. Like, I don't have this in my house. Let me tell you that. Like this whole setup.
Yeah.
Like, so
shout out to Clear Life Media.
Yeah, just pay these guys, and you don't have to do anything except just pay them for what they're amazing at.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get to go on and go do the stuff that I'm better at.
Would you rather spend months figuring all this out, or
no?
Just, no.
And I don't want to pay for all the stuff, all that.
That's me.
But I did pay some irrigation guys that I know had a good reputation and knew their stuff to come out and show me things. Right. And it's even in learning in the school, it almost drives me more nuts now because there's this standard that is supposed to be followed, and how all these neighborhoods and everything with irrigation, the builder, like, how the hell do they pass on this stuff? Because it's not to code. And it drives me insane.
On irrigation stuff?
Yeah.
So I would imagine, you know, like my neighborhood when it was built, the city of League City comes out and they check out the house to make sure the driveway's poured the appropriate width, the electric's all up to code, all the framing's right, all the AC stuff. I don't think they care about the yard, like the what do you call it, the underground irrigation.
Well, no.
Is there a code on that?
In League City, they just changed it, I believe, to where they have to come out and inspect it before you cover it back up, which is, in my opinion, it's a pain in the ass for the installer, right?
Because you have to split it between 2 days.
Right, and you have to take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So I feel the installer side, but on the other side, you know, I know Texas City charges a small fee for your backflow inspection. So if I'm going to have to pay these fees for inspections, you darn skippy, I want to know that my stuff was done right.
Yeah.
Right. And just having the schooling now and the experience, like, of course, the experience always ranks supreme.
Oh my God.
You know, find out from the right guy. I got my buddy Justin who pops on here. He's been in irrigation for like 14 years. Hey man, can you show me how to do this? Yeah, this is how this works. I'm like, gold.
Dude, if you would have told me the day I started in real estate some of the things I would see and deal with, oh my God. Like that, like that's why I say the school is nothing like the job, or the test is nothing like the job.
Yeah.
The test didn't say, this is a true story, short story, I'll keep it short. The test didn't say it's closing day with your seller who is closing out of town. They moved out 2 weeks ago. You go to get your lockbox from the property and realize their house is still full of their stuff. Their food is even still in the fridge. Their towels are hanging in the shower. They didn't move a thing. They just left and closed. What do you do then?
Gross.
You're literally in there with rubber gloves and a trash bag getting their old food out of the refrigerator.
You as the real estate agent?
Dude. Yes.
What?
Yes. Yes. I'm not, I swear.
I've even had plenty of
dude, I've mowed clients' yard.
Yeah? No way, man.
Yes.
Even when I have customers that are like, that smoke is typically what it is. And back when I used to mow yards, now I don't deal with it the same, but when I used to mow yards, they'll, you know, oh, you missed a corner or you missed this little stuff. I'm like, hey man, look, I'm not your trash guy. You got to clean up all your butts and all this stuff. I'm the lawn guy. So unless you want to pay me more to also be your trash guy, I ain't touching that.
Yeah.
And fortunately, some of them would be like, oh, okay,
Fair
know,
enough.
I'm sorry. All right. And other ones were like, what are you talking about? You're just a yard guy. If that's what you think I am, peace, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to work with people that don't appreciate us.
No. And nobody does in any industry.
That's right.
Right. But also the flip side of that is work with people who care about what they do, you know, because I do care about what I do and I have a high level of like integrity for what I touch. Now, if you're the mow and blow guy, hey man, maybe you're also the trash guy.
I've learned that it's never worth it. You know, when I was trying to get going in my career, I would take anything I could get. But the moment I get a vibe that somebody's not appreciative of what we're doing, you need to get away from that.
Yeah.
It's never worth it.
No,
never.
It's not.
Because they're not going to, you know, my goal is to do such a good job for someone that they can't help but tell people about how good I did and that I helped them accomplish a goal that they had. and then that's going to flow business back to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And we got to wrap this up, but I kind of want to finish what you're saying with this, is that being in business or working for yourself or working in any capacity, it's all the same as like any relationship. The better you are at setting boundaries,
It's like
and having standards, for yourself, like the better the dating experience is, the better the work experience is, the customer experience and everything, because y'all deserve respect from me, right? And I also deserve respect from you.
That's right.
You know?
Love that, man.
Yeah, thank you. So where can we find you?
On Instagram, on TikTok at Blake Baker Real Estate, on Facebook, Blake Baker Realtor, or you can just add me on Facebook. It's just Blake Baker. And YouTube. If you just search Blake Baker Realtor on YouTube, I think the actual handle is youtube.com/Blake Baker Real Estate. But Blake Baker Realtor on YouTube, search that, it should pop right up. My podcast is on YouTube, the Under Contract Podcast, where I will be hosting my boy soon.
Woo!
That's it.
Thank you guys for watching. We love it. The More Than Grass Podcast. Like, share, show that you care. Peace.
Peace.
Hey everybody, it's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing. We are here to help fix your lawn. Does it currently look brown, dead, dry, patchy? We'll call it Hippie. We can help turn it around. And one of the best ways to do that is with our Hippie Juice Plus application to revitalize your soil, your turf, and help give you a lush green lawn you're looking for. Please fill out our contact form at hippiefertilizing.com, because nobody knows grass like a hippie. Peace.